Good night. Good night to our Belizean people, both at home and abroad. Those who view us, hope that the time change. We're trying to get adjusted. So hopefully we'll back on stream. And good night again. Once again, it's always a pleasure to sit with my co-host, Mr. Leonard Brackett. It's always a pleasure to sit in your company, sir. And we should be joined shortly by Gregory Brackett. He is the master man behind he's the technical man. So hope, he should be joining us. And as always, it's always a pleasure to be able to sit here, Leonard, and be able to talk to our Belizean people, both at home and abroad, and sharing our views. We give solutions, we talk about things, and we talk about solutions, and we talk about the course our country is going, um, and all that happens in this country. We try to bring it forward in real time, and we don't dissect. We call it as it is. And we also show and tell. So those who doubt us, we always show and tell. So on that note, we always start with a prayer and then a reading. So I'll ask Mr. Leonard Brackett to lead us in a prayer, please. Amen. Thank you for that warm prayer, Mr. Brackett. And again, welcome to our 214th edition. 214th edition of Belizean Affairs. And Leonard, I will lead us in a reading. From a shift to Psalms 18, 89 to 900. Says, "Forever, O Lord, your word is firmly fixed in the heavens. Your faithfulness endures to all generations. You have established the earth, and it stands fast. By your anointment they stand this day. For all things are your servants. If your law had not been my delight, I would have perished in my afflictions. I will never forget your precepts,
Amen.
for by them you have given me life. I am yours. Save me, for I have sought your precepts. The wicked lie in wait to destroy me, but I consider your testimonies. I have seen a limit to all perfection, but your commandments is exceedingly broad. Oh, how I love your law! It is my meditation all the day. Your commandments makes me wiser than my enemies,
Amen.
for it is ever with me. I have more understanding than all my teachers, for your testimonies are my meditation. I understand more than the aged, for I keep your precepts. I hold back my feet from every evil way in order to keep your word. I do not turn aside from your rules, for you have taught me. How sweet are your words to my taste, sweeter than honey to my mouth.
Amen.
Though your precepts, through your precepts, I get understanding. Therefore, I hate every false way. That's my reading from Psalms 18, chapter 18, 89 to 104. Leonard,
Amen.
um, my brother, it's a lot every time you look around, it's always something making the news, you know. The devil, I think, in my mind, is very busy, because, you know, we never can see, a calm day. There's always something. But like I say, we should always put God first.
Amen.
So I would say, all those people who sets out to do evil, Leonard, they should stop and think about, putting God first, and then maybe while doing that, that would deter them from doing what they had set out to do. So, I say that to say that, but by any chance, do you want to
Uh,
say something before I do,
uh,
um,
yes, Mr. Wade.
something come to mind that you would like to put out?
Before you go into your monologue, as you were saying, I would like to have a short something to say. Yes, but I just
Yes,
needed
sir.
maybe like a couple of seconds,
Yes, sir.
just to just I just want to make sure that the rest of the people are locking in with us. And I need to be able to launch this portion here, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir. No problem. Yes, it's sad to see our little Belize 2024. We would say that by now, things would be better, and life would be better, and people would be living, having a better life, um, and we would have been far more advanced, especially in our security forces, because I say that to say, because there's a lot going on, in the day-to-day operation of our security forces, um, whether on their free time, or whether at their place of work, or wherever they are deployed, or whatever duty they are on. It's it's so sad to see what's happening. But go ahead, Leonard. Take that
Uh,
few minutes and say what you would like to put out.
Thank you very much,
Or
Mr. Wade, Mr. Chairman, for tonight, for granting me the opportunity to participate with you, and also giving me a little extra couple of minutes on the front end of the program to just verbalize my state of mind. I'm currently not in the happiest mood. Most people know me to be a cheerful person and somewhat of a happy-go-lucky person,
amen to
and
that.
someone who is always having a smile on his face, even when he's smiling to try and hide or disguise some of the, you know, personal tragedies or agonies or issues. But in this instance, I just want to put this out there, and that is to say, I am personally aggrieved about how not only our current government, but it appears to me even past governments have gone ahead and violated our constitution in instituting and carrying out policies of state that are contrary to what the constitution requires them to do, such as to tamper with the inalienable rights and civil rights, constitutional rights of the Belizean public. That is to say, these individuals in Parliament, in our Parliament or House of Representatives, they come out here after being elected, get in the House. Well, first of all, what they do is they go to Cabinet, or somebody takes some issues to Cabinet, they discuss it there. They're supposed to discuss it in the interest of the public, but they conspire against the interest of the public and then create onerous laws that are violative of the Constitution and violative of all rights as citizens. And with these laws, when they put them out there, they trap quite a few people. And I'm saying that I'm aggrieved because in this instance, they have also trapped me. I'm
Wow.
not known to be somebody that is easily sat upon by anyone. And I think most people who know me or know anything about me would recognize that statement to be very factual or truthful. So when I'm coming to you and telling you that these jackals, hyenas, and drunkards are attempting to cause me to become a scofflaw myself by virtue of being put in a position where I may be inclined to disobey those rules and regulations that they put in place contrary to what the Constitution said they're supposed to be doing. Because they're supposed to be serving us, the Belizeans, not themselves or any other foreign interest. But in this case, for further clarification of what is it I'm beefing about right now, and I hope I don't take too long, Mr. Wade, because,
No, go ahead,
uh,
Leonard. Go ahead. Go ahead because you
yes,
need
sir.
to get it out. A lot of people
Well,
do not know.
at least out of my system, and I hope that people are hearing what I'm saying, because I'm not the only person that this has happened to, but at least I'm a person that is in position of knowing and understanding the technicalities, the legalities, and the rogueness with which this government currently, and as I've said, apparently past ones as well, are treating the Belizean people. They're supposed to be operating on our behalf, not on behalf of themselves or any foreign interest. And here we have, for example, Belize being a very poor country with a poverty index of approximately 60-something%, which is very high, by the way. We find that the government is hamstringing local Belizeans who are at home from being able to access funds that could and would and sometimes are made available to them by their family members, friends, and others who have an interest in wanting to help the Belizean economy and the people of Belize. So I find myself bringing some funds into the country when I came, I wired some to myself and brought some additional funds when I came. And because of the operations that I pursue and the poverty alleviation programs that I try to help with, I need funds to be able to do that. And therefore, I had my daughter send me some additional funds so that I can be able to pay some taxes and have some additional funds in my pocket to continue doing what I'm doing until I'm ready to leave or until my time comes for me to move on. The problem is that there's so much need out here in Belize on the streets and in various communities in our country, because I've been to Corozal a few times, I've been to Orange Walk quite a few times, I've been to Cayo, I've been to Sand Creek, I've been to Placentia. I'm all over the damn place doing my regular analysis as well as participating in the public poverty alleviation program of the country, doing my little part of it. And I resent the very fact that these idiots would go to the house and make a law to say that I am restricted in how much money I can bring into the country when I come, how much money I can receive while I'm in the country, to the point where the idiots, one of the laws that they have in place allowed, I'm going to call the damn names of anyhow, because I need for people not to be speculating when I'm talking. I need for people to understand exactly what the hell I'm saying. And in this instance, Western Union was the entity that was used to do some transactions that I brought and that my daughter sent to me. And in the one that my daughter sent to me, they take the damn money and send it back to my daughter instead of delivering it to me. They collected a fee to deliver the money, and instead of delivering the money to me, they returned it back to my daughter. So in effect then, I did not have access and could not have access and have not have access to those funds from the time it was deposited a couple of weeks ago. As I'm having this conversation right now in public about it. Because like I said, I'm beefing about it because it affects me, but not so much about me. It affects a lot of people that I'm trying to be helpful to, that I'm trying to stretch my hand to. And some of these individuals are individuals on the street, you know, they walk around, they're homeless, they're indigent people, they don't have a job, they need a little bread or a little whatever, and sometimes maybe they want to go and ask for some money to go and buy a smoke or some drugs or something. I'm not judging nobody what they're going to do with the funds. I would hope that they use the funds that I hand to them for food or water or whatever is it that they're asking for it for. But I've been around this world almost 75 years now. And I know when people are playing games or asking for funds for something different than what they're actually asking for it for. But that's not my problem. Once the funds leave my hand and get into the hands of the people to whom I pass it on to, it's not for me to judge them and decide whether or not, even though I would have liked for them to have bought food or good things with it, that I don't care to sponsor no drug trade and spend my money to give nobody to make them go and buy drugs. Even with those kind of reservations, it is not my damn business to get into those people's prerogatives and determine for them, walk around with them 24/7 to make sure that they spend the money in a rightful way. Once it leaves my hand and gets into their hand, that's between them and God, not between me and them anymore. And I find myself in a situation now where I'm so hard up for my own funds that I can't put my hands on because of these idiots, you know, that I can't stretch my hand as often to many people that I'm passing on the street to whom I normally would have stretched my hand and have been stretching my hand and probably need for me to stretch my hand again. They're actually affecting and creating more hardships on the Belizean public or the Belizean people. I'm not the only person that tries to send a little change for my family members or friends or even strangers or whatever once in a while. A lot of other Belizeans are out there doing the same thing. That is how come the Prime Minister could get on the TV and the radio and say that the Belizeans in the States have provided, on one instance, over $300 million Now, mind you, he was talking about $300 million. And if he's talking the same way the previous prime minister was talking about hundreds of millions of dollars being negotiated with Mr. Ashcroft, which turned out not to have been Belizean dollars, but American dollars has finally been paid out, it then means that the prime minister was talking about 700 and odd million Belizean dollars rather than 300 and odd. But so to speak, the bottom line is that that is not the only money that Belizean sends or makes available to the economy of this country. Belizeans abroad finance the economy of this country to almost one quarter or one third in different instances.
A little
In
more than
addition
that.
to the, in addition
More
to the
than that.
boxes and containers and all kind of other stuff that we send. So we're trying to be helpful to our country, and we have these jackals and hyenas who are preying at our public coffers, getting a salary, and doing all kind of mismanagement of the rest of our funds,
I,
giving out hundreds of millions to other.
Leonard, I have said once, and etc., that the diaspora is responsible for the day-to-day running of this country in the excess of 75 to 80%. That's my analysis that I have done, right? 75 to 80% daily, right? So it's so sad. Go ahead, though. Go ahead, Leonard. It's so
I just want
sad.
to
I
wrap it
hope the
up, and then
people
I'll
are
turn.
listening.
I just want to wrap this up and turn it back over to you, Mr. Wade. Like I said, I'm pissed off because now I have some taxes to pay to the government, which is, in other words, I'm saying I'm supposed to be giving some money to the government, and they're making it hard for me to put my hand on the money in order to give it to them. So that means that's money that should be going to our government coffers, that they should be able to help with what I'm putting there and other people are putting there to meet our financial obligation, to sponsor our budget. The taxes that we, the Belizean people, pay is what helps to finance our budget. And when we don't pay those taxes, or those taxes are not available, then the government has a shortfall. So they should be willing and ready to facilitate Belizeans being able to help bring money into the country, to help the country move forward, rather than just facilitating big money movers so that they can get their cut and then trample on us, who are the people who actually give them the privilege to serve us and wield that kind of power. They should not be wielding that kind of power against us. The Constitution says that they're not supposed to be getting into people's private affairs, into your business. That's why they lost that case against BSR, ASR the other day with Mr. Godfrey.
Dr. Smith.
Yeah, Mr. Godfrey Smith. They go to the legislature and make these laws, and then they have these ministers write up these statutory instruments and govern the country with that. While those instruments that they write up are violative of our Constitution and our rights. Why can't they do the right thing in the first place? Why should I have to be beefing about something like this in public so that other people have to be knowing my business and knowing how messed up these jackals are? Because when they're there sending their cattle across the border illegally, as they have been doing before they went and made the law the other day to exculpate and make what they were doing illegally legal, they are receiving, when they were doing it illegally, they were receiving tons of money, millions of dollars. The Prime Minister has a cattle ranching operation. The Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Mai, is involved in cattle as well. And these guys are moving money and have been moving money and doing this cattle thing with the Guatemalans them over our borders without paying any taxes, without paying any money towards our treasury, without paying any duty, without doing a lot of different things. And now they make laws to say, okay, well, they can get to do it for free now. Legally, they don't have to pay no taxes, or they don't have to pay any other different things, because now it's legalized. And in order as an incentive for them to continue doing it, according to them, to bring it, to sell the Belizean product abroad, off of which the government should be getting some interest or some payment, they are making it valid and legal that they don't have to pay nothing. That they can now be incentivized to even get tax breaks for legitimizing their illegal conduct or their illegal activities. So why the hell are they going to force Belizeans to only be able to accept $1,000 Belizean per month? Who the hell came up with that stupid idea? And then why are these jackals so slick, smart, or dumb to make that into a law, contrary to the Constitution? They knew what the hell they were doing in the first place. They knew that they were violating the Constitution. They knew that they were stiffing the Belizean public. Mr. Chairman, I think I have to give this up a little bit because I need to get into it a lot more detail with specifics and facts, because I don't like to just touch subjects like this just superficially.
Yes.
And I want to get out there and get after some of these guys by name if necessary, to embarrass and shame their ass for being such criminals and treating our people with such level of criminal contempt. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Leonard, thank you for sharing that your experience, right? Um, I knew there were a couple of other instances where I've heard pretty much similar, right? But all I gotta say on that is that these guys, they have a way of controlling, right? Controlling the masses, the vulnerable, right? Um, they don't do that to the guys that brings the briefcase. They don't do that to the guys that they do business with. So
Well said, Mr. Chairman.
it's so sad, and that's another form of slavery that they're doing to the people of this country, especially the vulnerable ones, because they control what they get.
Economic slavery.
So they control what they get and what they have to use. They control it.
Mr. Chairman, can I comment one more small
Go
comment?
ahead, Leonard.
Do you know that in order for me to put my hand on the money, because the money was sent back, I had my daughter send it back, and I still can't put my hand on it because it's more than the limit that the smaller business houses can deal with. So then I have to send it back and just take less. So then how the hell can I take less and still be able to function and do the things that I'm trying to do for other people who have needs? It means that I have to stiff those people who have needs. I have to tell them I don't have it or I can't afford it. Instead of just being able to pass on a few bucks here, there, and everywhere as
Yeah,
I normally do.
it's
But
so
these
sad.
guys, Mr. Wade, these guys don't care about people on the street. They don't care about people like myself who are trying to be helpful. They never take no money out of their pocket or their payroll and hand out to nobody on the street. They get into their cars or their vehicles and they drive past people on the street. They see some of these people on the street lying down. Sometimes they're probably thirsty or they're hungry or whatever. Who's to tell if it's their fault why they're in that situation? Probably because they got caught in being part of the drug trade or whatever. Or maybe they just grew up and didn't have no ability to earn a living, or because, well, of course, we know that the country doesn't have enough jobs for all the kids that are coming out of high school every year or out of college. Or for that matter of fact, there's not enough economic activity going on in the country for even professional peoples in some instances. But like I said, I want to deal with this matter more substantive and
So
more detailed. So let me yield back to you. Thank you for
yes,
affording me the
yes,
opportunity,
Leonard, so
Mr. Chairman.
true. And I say this to say that past and present, from time immemorial, they have a motto, Leonard. Keep the poor poor and dependent. Poor and dependent. On
Well
that
observed, sir.
item,
Well observed.
Leonard, I sat in my vehicle not too long ago and I watched the Shabbat guy walking the street get out his vehicle, walk in the street along with a female, and one of his supporter that know him pretty good says, "Sir, you could give me one." And it stopped. So happened, Leonard, that this conversation stopped right by my vehicle where I was waiting inside, sitting, and I listened to it. The guy asked him, "Sir, can you help me with only $20? $20, 20, Leonard." You know what that devil told that young man? "Go to my office, man. The go to my office." And turn around and walk, and he laugh and gone. Right? $20 he could not get out his pocket and gave that young man that asked him for a $20. Whatever he was going to do with it, I do not know and could care less what he was going to do with it. But the fact remained that, you know, and then are these crooks, they get thousands of dollars, and right now in this Christmas time, they have a thing they call Christmas cheer.
Chair, yes, sir.
Free money,
I'm
free
familiar.
money, my brother.
I'm
And
familiar with it.
people, they will get thousands of dollars of your taxpayers'
And
money,
they don't have to report it,
and they do not have to report it,
or,
okay?
or even say what they're going to do with it, how much of it is
And
going where. But
you
I have
people,
to tell them ahead of time
yes,
where I want to spend my money pan.
UP voters and you UDP voters always say, "My minister, my representative." You got to be ashamed of yourself, when you're jumping up and glorifying these people. In my book, got to be ashamed of yourself. Knowing what I know, maybe we don't know the action of these guys, but I'm pretty much sure we know, right? I'm going to glorify these people. Another thing we don't need to stop doing, is when a project is going on in your community, then they make mud, then they grade up and they say, "Oh, my minister, the work." That's what I say now, Leonard. The
Mm.
PUP fanatics and you. My minister, man, it's not your representative money. It's not his equipment. It's not, he is getting paid to do that.
Uh,
Paid off the backs of the taxpayer. And while he is out
Mr.
there,
Chairman,
he is
can I,
looking to see how he could thief.
Mr.
That's
Chairman,
what he's looking out there doing. Go ahead, Leonard.
can I stipulate right here on this show a typical example of what you just mentioned just now about the work that they need to do or that they do, but it's not their funds being spent? I'll go a little further and I'll say, for example, anybody who drives on St. Thomas Street today or yesterday or maybe last week and probably tomorrow would tell you that they fear for their vehicle because of the size of the potholes and the amount of potholes. Now that street was fixed just before the last city council election. So likewise was Road Lane that goes from Orange Street all the way up across Pong Yard and all the way up to the cemetery. Okay?
Happens
And
across the board, Leonard.
those streets are only a couple of the many other dozen streets that I know of that are in terrible, extremely terrible conditions. You may recall that I pointed out that because of some parts of roads that we had to travel on going down towards PG Road in that area, we end up with a blowout. Almost
You
lost
remember
my
you
life
told me that, yeah.
because of the craziness that's going on in terms of lack of proper maintenance of our roads. And then we have these big buses, these big trailers that are sometimes two of them hooked up together, 70,000 pounds each, running up and down our roads that is kept off with a little half inch of gravel and a little less than quarter inch, probably a
Quarter
1/8
inch
of
of
an inch
tar.
of tar. And that's what they consider to be a
What do
road
you expect?
on which these heavy vehicles are running. And they broke up the damn road, and we, the people who have to ride cars and SUVs and other small vehicles or pickup or whatever, are paying the price because we had to go and get a new tire. In addition to the
So,
excitement of almost losing our lives
so Leonard,
and other expenses.
yeah. So Leonard, it's
Crazy.
we and we talk truth. and we talk things that are happening, and we talk real things that affects the lives, the daily lives of our Belizean
I,
people,
I
right?
am not ashamed to put out
I
my
am not
public
ashamed
discourse
either
out there,
to
sir.
Leonard.
It's a public service.
Exactly. I am not ashamed to say it either. Now, you talk about you see when they're gonna do a little work is when an election, either a city council or town council or general election. That's
Uh,
the only time you see them grading a little bit, grading and not properly fixed. It's just a band-aid thing for that day,
But Mr.
for
Chairman,
that 2 weeks or that three
the road
weeks.
them look nice and pretty after the man and finish spray it. How long
So
ago was that election? Today, day, the road is in worse condition than it probably was before they got around fixing it. Where they come up with
so
the money now to go and fix it
we
or
know they
fix them?
talk nothing that people know the experience, in every nick and cranny of this country. That is exactly what been happening. And those who use the roads, and people use the road, even us,
Mm-hmm.
and donkeys and dogs and all that. But
Mm-hmm.
this is what happened in this country. Okay? When it will get fixed, don't know. When I say
Before the next
fixed,
election,
Leonard, I mean the proper.
when after the election is called, before the election is finished, it will be fixed. But it will be fixed the
What?
same way it was fixed the last time.
Yes, Leonard. Why I say this? I say when I say fixed, I mean properly fixed, because these people, past and present, all they see is right here, right in front of their feet. They don't never see the bigger picture, Leonard.
So,
Never, my brother, see the bigger picture. They see
Mr.
what they could get now and now and now and get it done and hustle what they could get now and bleed the coffers of the taxpayers now. And when that dry, they go back and they try to get full it again, full the coffers of the taxpayers' coffers, so they could use it, so they could dispense of it.
I saw Greg in the background just now a couple of times and he disappeared again. So I don't
Okay.
know. He
So
might be cleaning up something.
let me just say, Leonard, give me a little 5 minutes there. That's 5 minutes,
Yes, sir.
right? My
Uh,
people.
you're the chairman tonight, Mr. You don't have to ask me for permission, sir. It's
There
your
was
night.
there was a time, my people, when laws and the enforcers of our laws and our constitution was respected. There was a time. But in these days, it's not. We see the behavior of some of our very own policemen and women in uniform as I speak. We see the action and behavior of our elected leaders, past and present, as I speak. And also some of the appointed one as I speak.
The unelected ones, too,
The
sir.
yes, the unelected ones. These are the ones who the people have given the powers to protect and serve them. They have all failed, Leonard, in my book.
Miserably
All
so.
failed. And they need to be investigated.
So they need to be in a
Who
jail.
who is to be charged should be charged just like how they do with John Public. Who are they? Are they above us, above the laws, above the constitution, above? It seems like, okay, they have all failed. And sadly, they don't give a hoot. Don't give a hoot about their actions. And for sure, the world is watching.
Mm-hmm.
And they also forget that the taxpayers is paying them. And they make mockery of the courts,
Mm-hmm.
the laws, and the constitution of this country, who they swore allegiance to. And they have no shame in what they do and say. We see the
It's a way.
deals they
It's a,
make for profit themselves while they use the name of the people and the assets, people's assets, and the people's natural resources, right? With no shame. They don't have the respect for the rule of law. The law does not apply to these people. The injustice in this country, the social injustice, the social ills in this country, they turn a blind eye. So sad, right? And sadly, our police and BDF needs attention, right? No one seems to be, you know, thinking about that, Leonard. No one, right? And sadly to see, Leonard, today, 2024, the BDF is not properly equipped, underpaid, undernourished,
sad,
right?
sad, sad.
And as I have been part of that family, Leonard, and it hurts me because, Leonard, I know what some. I'm not talking about the one that sit in the office, I'm talking the guys out in the field, the deteriorating conditions, sometimes the footwear that they are wearing, Leonard, need attention, right? Sometimes the food they carry is not the right menu, but they got to carry it anyway, right? So,
Mr. Chairman, I recall a foreign minister chastised some of our BDF soldiers because they had an interaction with the Guatemalan armed forces out on the Sarsoon.
yes,
And our
yes,
soldiers
yes,
were prepared
yes,
to stand their grounds, hold their grounds, to defend this patrimony, which is what they have sworn to. Yet you have this idiot of a foreign minister, I think he was just giving senility a bad name,
yes.
will turn around and chastise these Belizean soldiers
It's so sad,
because they weren't
Leonard.
properly dressed. They were supposed
Yes,
to be paying them and dressing
yes.
them right instead
It's
of
so sad,
chastising them.
right? It's so sad, Leonard, and they're
Sick.
underpaid.
Bunch of sickos.
Underpaid, Leonard, where these crooks they go and serve for 5 years, Leonard, and they come out and they get,
Retirement
you
for
know,
life.
yes, right,
Not to say the millions. They go in without any pennies in and then pocket for rattle and they come
yes,
out with
yes.
multi-million in some instances.
So I say this to say that our security forces are on life support. We see the deteriorating condition of the performance of our police officers. It could be fixed, but no one cares to fix it. They just let the problem amounting, and they try to justify the problem. You don't do that, right?
Mr.
You want to say
Chairman,
something, Leonard? Go ahead.
every once in a while I get these urges to butt in and just add to enhance what you're saying. Our BDF soldiers right now and some of our Coast Guards, they are sent into dangerous assignments in Haiti right now. Are those gentlemen getting hardship pay? Are their retirement schedules going to be upgraded to show that they served in dangerous situation and therefore
Hell
they're
no.
supposed to get a better retirement schedule than
Hell
just
no.
if they were just sitting down at home, maybe guarding while lead post or something like that? They have their lives being exposed. Their family are supposed to be benefiting from their higher level and more dangerous level services.
I could
Where
let
is the commander? Is he thinking about these things or on that level? Is he being fair-minded to these people who are being put into those kind of duress or stressful situations?
I
Because not a, I'm sorry, go ahead, I yield back, Mr.
I
Chairman.
think I think that I see the problem, and the problem could be fixed very easily, right? Um, in the 70s and the 80s, I could remember life was much better being. I was a former member of the police special force, a paramilitary body, paramilitary, right? We didn't have any problem. You know why, Leonard? Because we had a loan service officer as our commander, a foreigner, right? And he knows the necessity, the needs for every soldier, right? And he makes sure that we get it. Well, when I said that every member of the police special force, I'm talking back then, we didn't want for nothing, Leonard, when we go and up in operation, and what we had to work with. We had whatever we needed.
And
Because
when,
again, I'll say this, Mr. Minister of Police and Mr. Minister of BDF. I call him Mr. Minister of Police and Mr. Minister of BDF. We need to get back to basics. Recruit back some loan service heads of department, loan service head of the commander of the Belize Defense Force, loan service head of the police force. Mr. Man, and this country will be set because they know the needs and they know the equipment needed for everything, right? But
Mr. Chairman,
these that you
and they should
guys
not,
are appointed as your stooges does not know crap.
they
I
should
could
not be
tell you,
telling
I
the
look
enemy,
you in the eyes and tell you that,
they should
right?
not be telling our enemies how much bullets we have and how long we are equipped to fight.
That's
Besides
for
that,
sure.
besides that,
That's for sure, Leonard.
I want to put names to the two positions that you stipulated just now. The Minister of Defense is no other than Mr. Marine Jr.
And I understand he was a BDF too, Alan. I understand.
He
I don't know
was.
what kind of BDF he was, but
He
I
was, sir.
understand he was.
But then again, the other name for the Minister of Police is Mr. Karim Musa. You two gentlemen, get on the horse, ride the horse, get the job done. Our country and people depend on you guys fulfilling on our obligation, on our sign, oath that on swore to the country and constitution, and us, the people of Belize. Get on the horse,
Exactly.
get on the job done. When you collect the pay, the least you could do, stop collect the pay if you don't want to do the job right. But stop
So,
messing around and playing games.
so I say this, and I end this with you guys, with you, Mr. Musa and Mr. Marin. We don't need to do right by the BDF and the police,
Our
right? We don't
service
need to
people.
do right, and only then we will have a better country, right? And if you don't understand why they tell you, think about it, right? You think about it because the things that they do,
Ask
I they
questions.
say it's not, the jail at all, right? And maybe they do that for a reason. Maybe
For
we
what?
don't want to equip the BDF for a reason. Maybe we don't want to properly equip the police and educate them for a reason, right? And I a thousand things I could say. Maybe that's one of the reasons, but we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see, right? So I say this to say that we are in this country, we in bad shape, very bad shape, and sadly, Leonard, is always the poor people that take the blunt, the poor and less fortunate that takes the blunt of everything, and those are the people that they always say they are making an example of. Instead of they make one example of one prosper minister or minister or one heads of department or one senator or one, no, use the small lead, right? And they leave poor man we can't afford an attorney we got a court and thing, and they last and turn and twist around and drop the book and that's the example. That's the example that they say. Oh, we'll set an example. Golly, man. I think we deserve better, Leonard. Right? We deserve better. Right? And all we are doing, we are advocating because they're not doing right, right? And we are calling them out and we are showing them where they are not doing right, right? And we are advocating for the poor and less fortunate Leonard that does not have a voice. And I advocate for the Belize Defense Force because, like I said, I was once a part of it. Like I said, they deserve better, and they have been treated very, very, very unfairly by past
Shabby.
government and previous government. Okay. And lastly, Leonard, no one seems to be addressing, the high cost of living, the high cost of medication, the high cost of fuel, and the high cost of everything that has to do with the daily living of daily movement and daily living of the poor people, right? So they are not. That's not their priority. Not has been, and that will never be their priority. Their priority is to find a way how to keep the poor people poor and dependent. That's their priority. So sad. May God bless Belize. I just, hope that at some point, Leonard, that my people open their eyes at some point before it's too late. Pass it over to you, Leonard.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for such a wonderful presentation and for allowing me the opportunity to chip in every once in a while, disturbing your trend of thought, just to add specific points of contention.
Thank you.
I don't do so with any
No,
disrespect.
no.
I
Point
do
taken,
so
Leonard.
I do so, sir, with the idea of enhancing what you're delivering and contextualizing it as to specific experience or specific scenario. Thank you again for giving me this privilege for me to have something to say about what's going on. I would like to
Welcome,
say
sir.
I would like to say that thank you, sir. I would like to say that at some point we got to start taking each and every ministry of the government, pull up the bonnet for that ministry, peek underneath there at that engine, and do relevant and necessary commentary as regards to the state of affairs in those particular ministries.
I'm with you.
And if any minister feels aggrieved on us taking on that particular venture or challenge, then all they have to do is come to the show, prove otherwise, or say otherwise, or go to any other show and contend otherwise. If you can't sit your ass to collect the pay and pretend like what will they say no make no sense, or that you're entitled to just run roughshod over us and collect your pay and don't do the job, because we are not going to sit by and allow that to happen. So with the given a notice for now, here and out, tonight being the first night, we took on the first two, as I had mentioned, the Minister of Defense and the Minister of Police, with the come from the neck in terms of putting on a business out on the street and let people know what kind of shady characters they are and why they hang out in the shadows and how they come forward and deal with the reality and the responsibility under those particular ministries. We have more to say about it, and we'll come looking for other ministries as well, because the Ministry of Health, for example, the Ministry of Finance, for example, the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Lands, the Ministry of any and every ministry needs to start getting serious about delivering the services that they are being paid to deliver to the Belizean people. There's no excuse that we should be going and getting worse rather than getting better. Everybody they get paid, everybody they on payroll, and a lot of other people they get their benefits. Maybe some of the employees them at some of the ministries now they get as civil servants are not getting them full pay or them full benefits. But all the minister and all the CEO and all the special contract people are highly and well paid. So why the hell can't they do their part of the job? And if they were doing their job, the rest of the crew would be following and doing their part of the job likewise. And then probably we'll have more money coming into the country. The economy will be a bit more vibrant and brighter. And then the coffers will be flush with more money, rather if we have to borrow money to pay our current debts. And in some instances, we don't even have the money or we can't borrow it. We go to the consolidated funds and, and pretend that, okay, we have some special money set aside that we could tap into, when in fact that's not the case. Why? Because the money that we budget every year, a month after we finish reading the budget, the money is almost expended or misappropriated or put into
Leonard,
other ventures or other issues. Go
if they
ahead,
could
Mr. Chair.
find, if they could find, just quickly, if they could find money to buy a new vehicle, 90,000, 100 and odd thousand every so often to for their flunkies,
Mm-hmm.
that is doing nothing in terms of uplifting our country, but the men and women who are serving in this country, who are the national security of this country, have a hard time getting a nice plate of food.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
Sorry, go
For the
ahead,
amount
Leonard.
of money that's slashing around in this country, there are people in this country that are flush with money. They are multi-million, not just millionaires, multi-millionaires. In fact, some of them, you would have said they have 25, 30, 40, $50 million. And these people could give back to the country a little stipends every once in a while as part of what you'd call a boost for the economy or for the treasury of the country. Because they make so much money after not paying a fair share of tax that they can afford to give back a little something once in a while, voluntarily. Why don't they do it? Don't they know the rest of the country have to survive? Don't they know that the government have to pay its wage bill and other service bills? But the politicians are not setting the example. They're ripping off the money and mismanaging and misusing the money, and therefore the people who have the money who could help or would be able to donate something are jaded. Then they watch how the politicians and rule, and they don't want to give up for their money to make no politician rule well for their money. So we need some examples of at the level of the politicians. And they will be made examples of, because whether they like it or not, or whether they want to carry their court and sue for defamation or whatever the classification and the beef, the hurt feelings are, they could go ahead. I told them before, I would make myself available anytime I'm ready and willing to take on the challenge. Because all I'll do is counter sue for money that I can use for poverty alleviation program, which is my focus. They have the money. I don't mind getting it from there because we need to get it from somewhere. So if they
The
want to
last
sue me
time,
for
cut you,
defamation or libel or whatever, you can't defame somebody that is famous for being a cook. You can't
not
libel
to,
somebody with the truth. So when they
Leonard,
come to me and come for me, they have to come with the right kind of equipment. They can't carry me in a court just willy-nilly and feel like they allege something that they can't back
I,
up. Because when I open my mouth, I back up where I open my mouth pan.
I,
I got the evidence then. I
Leonard,
know what go ahead, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Wade.
I cannot see, I cannot see why these guys are having a hard time to equip, properly the security forces, right?
They
Pay
shouldn't,
them
Mr. Wade.
properly.
They shouldn't.
I
The money is
not too
there.
long ago,
Like,
Leonard, right?
yeah, Mr. Wade, just a second. Like what Mr. Julo said, the Prime Minister can find money for whatever project he wants when he wants, regardless of where he have to put his hand. He can find the money. Our country is not bankrupt. It's just being mismanaged.
Not too
Sorry
long
about that part,
ago,
sir.
not too long ago, Leonard, quickly, not too long ago, he upped the phone allowance. He upped different allowance for his CEOs, including the lady Nadia Garcia and all, right? And that money went to Smart. With a stroke of the pen, one day, right? And there was no qualms that then they never even they just get that. He just decided to do that. But
But there
here
was
you
no, there
have
was,
the
Mr.
PDF.
Wait, on that point, there was no plan that cost that much money that he gave them, okay?
That's
There
just,
was no plan existing
that's
at the
all.
time.
That's
So
all
they
in the
created something
equation,
new.
right? That's all in the hustling. That's all in that hustling,
And they took away
right?
the contract from BTL and gave it to Smart again.
Uh,
Who controls Smart? Mr.
that's all
Bissell
in that
and
hustling.
Mr. Ashcroft
My
and his
thing
family.
is, Leonard, right? I'm just
Bunch of
expounding on this
scoundrels.
critical situation of the soldiers, the men and women who walks the border, right? Who protects us,
Yes, sir.
right? I am just on that point right now based on a letter sent by a soldier to the prime minister, right? And not just one soldier. You have many more who are feeling the same domino effect. But he was just bold enough. If I was there, that letter would have come from me long time ago, right? So I just say this to say to show to the nation and the world that where these people priority is at, right? Who these people are serving, who they are indebted to, not to the people that they should be indebted to, not to the people who gave them that job. No, that's not. No, that's entirely out of their prerogative, right? These men and women, these guys shouldn't be able shouldn't be in that position to send that letter to the prime minister office. These guys should have been treated fairly, reasonable, right? Getting the right food, getting the right pay, getting the right medical attention, getting the right welfare, right? But no, they are not, Leonard, they are not. But yet these people come to the news and they say everything is fine. They go open Blue Jean Black. You know a Blue Jean Black, right? Here they go and piss and bathe, right? That's what we call a Blue Jean Black. They went and opened that big thing and they never even for even the money that the American army, that group built that along with the Brats up and they built that in there and then gonna grandstand the Brazilian guy and the Marine guy. A simple thing as that, simple thing as a blues and black, they went and grandstand on that. Right? So sad to see the thing will catch their eyes. But the things that they should be doing, they are not.
Feed the
Right?
soldiers.
The soldiers, the welfare.
Get in a salary in such a way that their family can
We got to
benefit from it.
expand on it, Leonard. We got to expand on it because it's not
Mr.
fair,
Weird,
man.
Mr. Weird, let me put it out like this, sir. The present government does not have an opposition or a serious enough opposition in the House to deal with them or to call them to account. But they will, so long as we have this opportunity to be on this platform, they will have someone or some entity to contend with because we will bring it to them on a regular basis. Okay?
Amen to that.
We will tell them where they fall short. We'll provide advice how to make up the difference, and we'll call their names. They don't want to be embarrassed, then do what you was paid to do. Stop taking we money and try to play games with we and treat
And,
we like corner money.
and then they wonder,
Because
Leonard, why they're losing so much case within the police department. Why the police are losing so much case. The big thing with that, and I wonder about that. So simple. Mr. Man, equip the police properly so they could do a proper investigation and a proper analysis. Equip them with a good forensic lab, Mr. Man. Right? Equip them with the equipment they need to carry out the function. Right? But it's so hard. If you want a police force, that's what you need to do. You need to equip them and educate them. Equip and educate so that they do the right thing, right? Not the rogueness that's going on the street by the police, men and women, as I speak. The murderous, the heinous crime that they are being committing, right? Who does that, right? I mean, as I'm saying, you need to properly educate them in the classroom and equip them, right? What they should and shouldn't do to be a policeman,
and pay
right?
them reasonably as well.
And pay exactly, and make
And
do their well-being and their welfare.
stop covering
Good.
up for them when they commit crimes under the color of law.
Amen
Deal
to
with
that.
them because you have to make examples of some of these people
Too
so
many.
that others will take caution.
I've said over the years, Leonard, I came back home and said, I told some very good friends of mine that's still in the system. You have some good policemen, that my brother, you have some good policemen working in your precinct and everything, but you have some criminals. I said the word. You have some criminals among you, right? That you need to get a hold of and weed out, or if not, police force will always fall short, right? Every time you look around, a police involved. Every time you look around, every week, policeman is involved. So sad, right? Then they, like you said, Leonard, they try to justify. Go ahead.
The problem is that when it comes to disciplinary issues, the strength of the cadre of police officers that we have should come from the officers above and not the subordinate officers or subordinate individuals. It's easy for a new police officer to follow the rules that they were taught in school and wanting to impress his senior officers and hoping to get a raise in position as well as salary, as compared to trying to influence the hardcore criminal minded officers who feel like they're entitled to being protected from their white collar crime or the crimes that they commit under the color of law. Why? Because they are lawmen. Well, the very same power that empowers lawmen to arrest criminals is the same power that those lawmen should be arrested under when they commit criminal acts. The laws, according to the Constitution under Section 6 of the Belizean Constitution, everyone is equal under the law. So I don't want Mr. Chester Williams as Commissioner of Police tell me or anybody else out there in the public that they have a disciplinary group in the police that they have to put these officers through, and then that disciplinary group does not discipline them correctly, and therefore we have to live with the outcome or the consequence of having that officer or any other officer pursue the same behavior pattern as that officer that was supposed to have been disciplined, that was actually defended and covered up for, so that the police department and or the government doesn't have to pay for any damages that that rogue officer may have committed. We need the matter to be cleaned up, which is why we keep insisting and asking the police commissioner to deal with the subordinates, which is why we keep asking the police minister to stop cover up and give the way to violators of our constitution, because he is a constitutional officer. He swore to abide by the constitution. So he is our constitutional officer that's supposed to make sure that these officers operate within the bounds of the constitution. And when they attempt or when they do operate outside of the bounds of the Constitution, it is for him to make sure that he don't cover them or protect them or set aside any means by which those officers cannot be brought to account. Because that's been happening for too long. And we need to get a handle on that kind of issue. We're tired of them coming and making excuses for rogue officers. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Sad, I I I will I stay on this subject here because I know about it, Leonard. That's why I talk about it, right?
Yes, sir.
I stay on it because I see a lot of wrong from the time of inception, right? I see where a lot of favoritism, a lot of officers get jumped to big posts because of friend of a minister, friend of a politician. I see a lot of injustice done to the lower ranks, to the sitting men and women who is there for 15, 10, 15, 20 years and get nowhere, right? And I see people just come from nowhere, like I said, just because they are friend and family of a minister, right? And they get jump up to high position and end up telling the one down below them what to do and what not to do, although they don't know got a damn clue what they're talking about. Right? They have to go and ask somebody, what they should do or what they shouldn't do, right? Or how they should go about doing what they should do. Because they have no idea, right? I watch it in the 90s when the man, my comrade Alan Usher, right? When he came from the BVG and enrolled in the BDF, and he went to England after that. He's the nephew of George Price and become the commander of the Belize Defense Force. When there were men there that started that force, majors, my good comrade Charlie Good, may he rest in peace, Mr. Major Gillett. My good comrade, these are comrades of mine from way in the police station. They found the BDF. They have to come and salute that boy. Then I call him a boy, right? Don't have a damn clue. He became the commander of the Belize Defense Force. Jump around over all these senior man, senior. Jump around over there, guys. Sit down up here, right? Don't probably frightened how he get up here, right? He end up doing time, and then finally, down there, he gonna become a CEO in the Ministry of Defense. So what he did? Since that now, he take a man by the name of Yukin, a partner of him that was a cadet, became a cadet officer, went to England, come back, and then all of a sudden he know everything, right? But in the BDF, he draw that man from the BDF and send him to sit in the second seat in the police department. Who does that? A BDF man who have no knowledge of policing, no knowledge about writing a report, no knowledge about crime and violence, no have no knowledge about policing. But the man Osha put in us, he had that power, you say, the man Osha. He had that power. And he set that guy there right there above all these. My thing is, Leonard, he set me above all these senior man. When I say, well, I could talk, my brother one, may he rest in peace. He had like 20 years already in there, right? And that man come and pass him. And gonna sit down as this 2IC of the police department under Mr. Hugh Williams. May he rest in peace. A very good man. I'm just saying this, right? The injustice. And I see the morale of the police force then just drop. Who did that? Mr. Alan Usher. He did that. And you can't tell me no, my brother, because you did it, right? Well, anyway, same thing in the BDF, Leonard. All these CBDF that comes around, has sucked up to some minister. Some minister, right? They put that man there because they trust that man. They trust him because they know that he know and do nothing contrary to what they tell him. Right? So What are they doing, Leonard? They are stifling the morale and stifling the growth. Mr. Man, if you don't know that, they do more harm than anything else. That's why we have the BDF that we have today because of ministers and politicians, right? My
But
experience, and this is what I got to say about that.
but Mr. Chairman, all of this is not by accident or mistake
Design.
or oversight. It's by design, exactly.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, that design does not accrue to the best interest and well-being of Belize as an independent country.
Exactly.
Much
What I'm
less,
afraid
I
for.
believe, much less I believe as a republic. Because when we get to that level and all hell broke loose, who do you think can be the
Uh,
one who pick up the pieces?
when when I want to ask you a question real quick, right? If
Yes,
you would
yes,
have
sir.
been in the position, wouldn't you want to equip your security forces with
I've always
properly?
advocated, I've always advocated for that to be
Okay.
done. I have
So
always,
my question
from
is,
way back.
why do these guys do not want to do it? They blankly, Leonard, blankly stifling our security forces,
They want to leave us
stifling
to
it.
become, they want to leave us to become, as they say, we can't fight Guatemala, as the Prime Minister says, even though he would like to be able to do so. And we don't have the equipment. They don't provide them with any benefits. They don't do any of the things that they're supposed to be doing, but they use our security people as little muppet, puppets, you know, just to play a game with. They're not serious about these gentlemen out there putting their life and limbs on the line and being in a situation where if push comes to shove, they can protect themselves first and foremost in order to then protect the country.
They're Leonard, they are good at begging. They are good at begging. Look what they went and begged for, Leonard. Uh, outdated helicopter, outdated, and a couple plane where they get donated. Outdated. That's what they beg for. Guys, we no got no shame. We no got no
They,
shame at all.
they want us as defenseless paupers.
Right? God. Or maybe no, Leonard, they don't know better, man. It's okay. I give them, they don't know better. Although the British was here and they taught us what is good and what is bad, they left manuals, they left training pamphlets, they left, you know, proposal, and they left a lot of things. But I say, they just they don't know better, right? They don't know better. Sad, not true.
All I say, all I say that they don't know better. Maybe that's true, and the reason why they don't know better is because they don't spend the time to try and learn what they didn't born knowing.
Yeah,
They fail to understand the first principle of knowledge.
yeah,
You learn what you didn't born knowing. Not everybody born knowing everything they need
yeah.
to learn in a life. That's why you live life. But these jackals, they're only hustlers. The big hustle is the name of the game. Look into each and every industry, or not industry, look into each and every ministry in this country, and you're going to find some hustling going on. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that nobody should be doing any hustling because, any government in this world, wherever there's a government, you're going to find one or two people with their finger in at the jar. So it's a given that those things do happen in government. The point is, look after the people's business. That's the first priority for which you was hired. But these jackals then pay some people for their vote, so they feel like they buy the system, and therefore the system is theirs to do at their heart content when they get elected.
Smile.
And that's why they act so. I yield back, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Leonard, you're so right
Is it okay?
now. I wonder now. I think about each, and I try to think about past and present politician, Leonard, who walk through this country's purse. And how them guys get so rich, Leonard? Huh? How they get so rich, and they're not only rich themselves. That's my thing. They're not only rich themselves, they rich others. Right?
Well, because they take our patrimony, and then
See,
sell it, palm it, or give it away to each other or their favorite friends.
and
Like
the
for
Belizean
example,
people
like for
happy with
example,
it,
the
Leonard.
stealing of, like for example, the stealing of the port from Mr. Feinstein to go and give to a Honduran company so that they can sell it to a bigger company, and then that bigger company could come and take
Bigger
over not
money,
only that port
bigger
but the
money,
rest of our other
bigger money.
ports. In other words, money will come down the line for those involved right now. How much of it can go into our treasury? Not a damn cent. And yet they take all powers of governance and subordinate to their own shenanigans. And we supposed to not have nothing to say about that? Take a hike. I yield back, Mr.
So I,
Chairman.
I, I said how these people do it, man. How they manage to win over the Belizean people in election day, right? And only to reach themselves more. They ride off and they come back and they reach themselves more, right? And they come and they dash only 2 cents to the Belizean people, and then they get that opportunity so they could reach themselves again. And now what is wrong? Who does that? Right? And they get away with it, and then get away with it.
The answer to your question, who does that? Jackals, hyenas, vampires, vultures, vipers. You know, those are the entities that do that. Anybody with a heart and a good mind or some kind of compassion towards their fellow human beings, or their countrymen, or who have a little bit of patriotic bone or bone marrow in an body, would not do that kind of stuff. So I've described to you just now, Mr. Wade, based on your question, who does that? I describe who does that. I yield back, sir.
Sad, sorry, sad, and or people just not get it, right? And the politicians, they like that when the people they not get it, right? They spin it around and dancing at 90 degrees and send the yonder and you go so yonder for the next 5 years. Then after that you could come back, then you could dance wrong me again, right? So it's so sad, my people, and no need to open up on eyes because millions and millions and millions of dollars come to this country to better off this country, to better off your lives and that, and they reach not reach none at all because you have the money up there with the books, and then cook the books up and then cook that book up so reach right? And it keeps happening, right? So you
Mr.
know
Chairman, what baffles me a lot is that Belizeans, both at home and abroad, seems to have no sensibility about the precarious state of our Belizean country and nation. Even while they themselves, a lot of them, specifically I'm making reference to, find themselves in dire strait economically and in many other ways. They don't realize that our patrimony that should belong to us is being given to others and not us.
yeah, yeah,
And it's being done with our eyes wide open,
wide open.
awake. And we are rolling along and pretending that, well, there's nothing we can do about it. Whatever they're doing, they're the government, they have the power to do. So we just have to let them alone. Bull crap. Get your butt off the seat. Find one way to put some pressure back on these politicians. Find one way to demand accountability from them and force them to be accountable. Only then would you be justified, Belizeans, to say you have any patriotic bone in our body. Other than that, take on a licking, sit down and suck on a finger, and thank these guys for the great job that they're doing on you, my Belizean brothers and sisters. because they're doing a great job, and apparently you're not even aware of your present circumstance, or you're unwilling to do anything about your present circumstance, or maybe you know they affect you and it affects somebody else, and you could care less because it's not your turn. But believe me, as you're breathing that breath of life and being alive, Belizean, whether at home or abroad, you can rest assured that your turn will come. I yield back, Mr. Chairman,
Thank you.
and we are close to
Thank you,
our
Leonard.
closing time.
Yes, thank
So
you.
I yield back for your
You
closing,
want
sir.
to take 3 more minutes, Leonard, to close, please? 3 more minutes, and
Uh, uh,
then Panay, I'll take the rest.
uh, Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'll do my closing by going right back to the same point of contention. That is that the PUP as a mass party right now might have the impression, based on their perception and the actual reality of what's going on in our country politically, that there's no one to hold them accountable. And I personally, as far as this platform, uh, panelists are concerned, can say to you, the PUP government, PUP party, led by the PUP government, that we will not cease and desist our effort to bring you to heal. You may not come to heal on your own, but we will not cease and desist our effort to bring you to heal. We just told you a little earlier in this program, we're not here doing a job on PUP on behalf of UDP or on behalf of any other particular party. We're here doing a job on the PUP on behalf of our country and people. We're not running any agenda at the local political level. We are running an agenda at the country level. What's best for our country and our people. And if we have to get out there in the middle of the cycle and throw everybody down in the gears to clog it up, then so shall it be. But let me repeat what I just said earlier. The present government, ministers of cabinet, CEOs, and commissioners, we're coming for you guys. Get yourself ready, because this will not be any kind of battle like you have fought before, or anyone that you are entangled with before. Don't say it wasn't advised. Don't say it wasn't told ahead of time, because we have the gall to come back and tell you, we told you so. And so shall it be. I yield back, Mr. Chairman,
Thank
for
you.
your closing, sir.
Thank you very much, Leonard, and so
You're welcome.
passionate, and thank you for standing up and being a true patriot of this country.
You're welcome,
Not
Mr.
no
Chairman.
wishy-washy call and tell you are a true patriot and vanguard of this country, right? And I
Thank you very much.
thank you for that, right? A lot talk and do not step forward. A lot talk in the back and don't have the face to step forward. But I applaud you,
You're welcome,
right?
sir. Thank you very
We
much for
wish
your.
many more would do that. Maybe then we will have a better country and a better accountability system and a better betterment for our people when more people come out and speak out, right? When more people speak on issues, right? When more people speak about the ills and stop shoving it under the rug and like you don't hear it and you don't care to talk about it because maybe not directly affect you, but they affect
Good.
maybe your loved ones,
Their turn
right?
will come.
So through this medium, I call on a lot of you who have that mentality in the background, have some balls and some guts, and step forward and call these people out for who they are. If they are good, please call them out on their good. If they are bad, please call them out on their bad because it affects people, right? So I just hope and pray that tonight's message, Leonard, that the powers to be and you specify who we calling out, right? I hope they hear us and do right by our security forces, treat them right, treat them humanely, treat them with the dignity and respect, treat them properly in their welfare, right? Because these men and women who serve us have family too, you know. They have kids, they have wives, they have mothers, fathers, grandparents, just like you, right? Treat them right, just like how you treat your surroundings. Treat them the same way because they are the very same people that protects you day and night. Okay? I don't see why you know they have so much baby before you know, do the right thing. Right? So sad. Who does that? What kind of heart you know got? And you know keep coming back. For what?
Mr. Chairman, could I just, based on what you had said earlier, and we have said before on our program that we call out people who do good and we call out people who do bad, and we give commendations to those who do good and a little whipping to those who do bad. Mr. Julius is no friend of mine. He's not somebody that I would look forward to or look up to as a true, serious example of patriotism. But the man had the fortitude and I would say the political strength of character to at least point to his Minister of Finance and Prime Minister to say that he should provide more funding for Mr. Julius' ministry. I wish many other ministers would probably advocate the same to get more funding for their ministry and don't misuse or misappropriate those funds, but maximize the effort that they can get in their services to the Belizean people who have them hired. In other words, they should be competing to do the best for us. So as far as Mr. Julius is concerned, like I said, he's not my bag of tea, but I personally am grateful to the man for at least standing in the breach, making the statements. He can't go and hijack the Prime Minister and hold up and say, well, I'll take this money and use it. But the man try with different ways, politically, to get the support where he need for him to show up doing his work. And the more he show up and the more work he does, the better off the people are when it comes to his ministry and the work that his ministry is doing. I would hope that other ministers try the same thing. And I can assure the Belizean people that our country would be in a much better place than it is today or would be otherwise. Why? That's all we're asking our government to do. Do right by the people. Do good. The money is there. And when they don't have the money, they can go and find it wherever they have always found it from. From the consolidated funds, from loans, from other sources. Selling off government assets. But they sell the assets to themselves on credit. And they don't pay, and the money don't end up in our treasury.
Well, Julius got some of those assets here through the forest drive. But
You
yeah,
understand why I
so
said that
when
the man
that
is
guy
not my
talk,
cup of tea,
Leonard,
right? No, but you
yeah,
understand why?
when he
Okay.
talk, you gotta take him with a grain of salt, right? That guy.
Precisely.
Yes, sir. But anyway, thank you, my brother, and I just hope that you know that the general public there, Leonard, get something from what we are advocating for them for, right? And you know, see what we are talking about, you know,
Stiffen up them back.
and
You have to stiffen up them back and
yes,
realize
man,
that
yes, yes,
they're
yes,
supposed to be in
because
the driver's seat.
too much, Leonard. We deserve better, man. The people deserve better, right?
Amen.
So on that note, you know, I want to say good night. It's
Uh,
always a pleasure, Leonard, to sit in your company.
Mr. Chairman,
And
can
I'll
we
take
do a
one
little
minute
small
to say that
acknowledgement?
Say again?
Can we do a 1 minute acknowledgement of some of the
Yes,
people?
sure. Go ahead. I can't
Um,
see on my end.
yeah, okay. We have Mr. Eric Castillo twice. Uh, he says, "Good evening, gentlemen, Belize and Belizeans. Blessings. Wake up, Belizeans. The sleeping giant and the silent majority needs to what needs to wake up." I'm not making out the rest of it, but I want to read the other. That one was a little lengthy, and then
Right.
it has a shorter one here which says, "Let's arrest and put the first politicians and believe." I guess he was trying to say maybe put them in jail, huh? But
Yes.
that's not
Says
what's intimating.
Eric Casio, let's arrest and jail the first politician and Belize credibility and credit rating will increase
Exactly.
75%. Right, Ubina first said good night and Eric Casio is watching. Right.
And we also have Miss Rubina Porte.
Who saw Ernesto Chog? Hi. Good night, my brother. Thanks for watching. And Eric, you're a frequent flyer, my brother. Leonard, Eric is a frequent flyer. And thank you, my brother, for seeing through what we talking about, my brother, and calling a spade a spade.
God
And
bless.
and
Amen.
I
Amen.
like to
That's
say
coming
this
abroad.
quickly, Leonard, that
Yes, sir.
come this next election, I've been saying it recently now that we will have a new entity and it will call the Belizean Justice Movement on that ballot, right? So you not only will see a red and a blue, right? You will see a watermelon color on that ballot box too. So I'm just putting out there, keep putting it. So later on, we will they will get to find out who the Belizean Justice Movement are and what they're all about pretty soon. And on that note, good
God
night,
bless.
Leonard. It's
Good night,
always a
sir.
pleasure, my brother. Looking forward for your Friday night um, 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 constitutional hour, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr.
It's
Whalen.
always a
God bless you.
pleasure.
Let's see if we can jump out of this one for tonight and do a little background